Hi, so we are looking at this resume today. This is a one-page resume, and this student has four different sections: education, experience, projects, and technical skills. One thing that is that people often forget about these resumes is the readers of these resumes don't necessarily read the entire resume, right? So you want to make sure that your sections make sense and that the spacing, the amount of space that you allocate to each section actually communicates something. And more importantly, people start reading at the top, right? And they could stop reading when they decide that they run out of time. So you want to put the most important facts about you, your most important experiences all the way at the top. And it looks like this student did do that. So if you look at the top, this is a very strong student, so putting the education at the top could help with that. If this was a resume used to apply for a research position, then I think putting the research intern or research assistant position at the top would make more sense. And here there's some leeway in terms of what to put first when you have this reverse chronological section. And if it turns out that you have something from a while ago that really should be all the way at the top, make it its own section, right? So you can separate this into the section into multiple sections. Maybe you want to have research experience section and a separate professional experience section to sort of surface what would be more important for the role that you are applying for. And then moving down, so this experience section is actually like a mix of different types of experience. So being a teaching assistant, that's great. That's a professional experience. Maybe it's a little bit different from what people are looking for if you're applying for an industry position. So putting that right at the top might not be as favorable to you. Software developer, that sounds pretty interesting. And depending on, again, the position that you're looking for, this might be more relevant compared to some of the previous experience that's listed here. You could maybe separate the experience section into a professional experience or paid experience versus other experience. Scrolling down, to be honest, I didn't really read the project section. I think if this was read by someone who is in industry, and they might be looking for your specific use of tools that that company could be using. So that could be a good section. But I actually jumped straight to technical skills. So the technical skills, maybe you do want to move up at the top, depending on, again, how you feel and what you're trying to communicate. If this, again, if this is a research assistant position that you're going after, then putting the technical skills at the bottom would be more fitting. If you really want to let people know, don't miss the fact that I know C++, then it makes more sense to put the technical skills at the top. And then hopefully that language will pop up again somewhere in the projects so that people can see what you've done with that language. Relevant coursework, I don't know if it really belongs in a technical skills section. Maybe you want to move this into an education section because this student in particular has done very well. It might even help to emphasize that, hey, look, not only am I doing well overall, I'm doing very well in each of these courses to give more space to an aspect about you that is very unique that other people can't really say. But this is a very unique resume. So these projects are not projects that every other students will have, both from this institution and other institutions. I think like playing around with the order is going to be interesting. Now that the big stuff is out of the way, the structural aspects of the resume, maybe we can look at some of the wording here. Let's look here. So there's a list of courses and another list of courses. Structurally, this is a little bit harder to parse, but I think I understand. Maybe something like an underline or italicized version of the words here would help, but I think this is like very small sort of optimization. There are verbs here, that's great. And in each case, these verbs are the subject in the sentence is the person whose resume this is. That's all good. That makes a resume a lot easier to read and parse. One suggestion is if you've done well as a TA, then writing about the effects that you've had on students, the impact. So focusing these bullet points on the impact that you've had as a result of executing tutorials or managing discussion boards, that would help as well. So performed analysis on Olivia wrote simple passes. Unless simple passes is a technical term, I don't know if it makes sense to sort of downplay what you've done. Maybe wrote passes. I might be off the mark here because I don't know much about LLVM. So VP External Affairs. So this one, I can understand why this elected is shown here. I would actually flip it and make sure that you are the one that's doing the action in these verbs. So responsible for the production and coordination. Maybe you can talk about what events you've organized. So coordinated and produced 7 events, right? For the society attended by X number of people. That shows what you've done and the impact. I do think that the fact that this is an elected position is something that's worth showing. Maybe like brackets here, elected position, that could be helpful. Maybe a separate section on student leadership or just leadership as a separate section could be another idea, again, depending on what kind of positions you are applying for and whether maybe there's a leadership aspect of that position. So these are the kinds of things that I would look out for. Yeah.